Folks, welcome to an all new episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Friday night, Saturday morning episode. Who knows? This is basically going to be a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap from this Wednesday's episode, and what an episode it was. I feel like I'm talking about a sports team that's just having a magical season, because Salt Lake City is just having a magical season. I was at that Kathy Hilton party earlier this week, and I got to talk to a lot of the Salt Lake City housewives, including Angie K, and I told her point blank, I said, I thought there was no way this season. I thought there was no way this season was going to be good. No way. And it has turned out fantastic. Each episode, there is some sort of lunacy. I mean, sometimes we deal with really heavy topics, as we have with Mary and her son, and that is brought up again in this episode. So you have these topics with Angie and her father talking about her mother's death this season, but then you just have lunacy. Bronwyn at this point is throwing everything at the wall. I mean, but I will say, I just love how I don't know if handling herself is the right word, but I love how she talks. You know, sometimes I'm like, is she doing too much? But then I'm just so damn entertained with what she's saying. Like, you know, she's basically she's upset about her room placement at Lisa Barlow's trip. And we've seen room arguments since the beginning of reality television. I mean, my favorite ones used to be on The Real World. I mean, not arguments per se, but the people that would get to the house first. And then that carried over into like Housewives trips. And we've seen iconic, you know, like Countess Luann having to be in the basement, remember? The lower level? It was at Dorinda's, you know, like that was such an amazing, and I love the tradition will be there until the end of time in terms of reality television. But I love that. Listen, on a lesser housewife of somebody that is not able to communicate nearly as well as Bronwyn, those arguments, I think, would kind of perturb me. But with Bronwyn, she just has this magical field of protection, kind of like that Mormon underwear that they wear, where it supposedly protects you from bad things happening to you. I don't know if I have the rule book on that, if that's how the magic underwear work or not, but you know what I'm saying. And so right now, Bronwyn is in that kind of key spot that certain housewives hit. And they, you know, rarely do in their first season, where anything they do, you're like, I'll accept it. I'll allow it. You know, like where you're like, you might be going a little too hard. Or I was a little questionable of certain moves at Meredith's bat mitzvah last episode, in that she was kind of switching sides back and forth, all of a sudden throwing Angie under the bus, that potentially led to Angie being escorted out by security. Security, I need this woman to leave now. This is my holy day, and I will not have slut shaming at Meredith Marks' bat mitzvah. Which, by the way, a special shout out to Meredith Marks and her, the team over at Lush. Sorry, just the random shit I have on my desk. I just have holiday bells on my desk. Meredith Marks' team, they did this Lush collaboration. I didn't have to say this on the podcast, but it's on my desk, and it's a Lush bath bomb, because Meredith, if we've learned one thing this season, is that she owns bath. Nobody comes for a bath. That's Meredith's. Bath is Meredith's thing. And this is on the card that was sent. Meredith, this is the quote. I am thrilled to partner with Lush, the original creator of the bath bomb, to bring an exclusive new product. Just as I cherish my baths, I approach my business collaborations with the same level of seriousness and intention. Partnering with a world-class brand like Lush, which embodies soul and purpose, aligns perfectly with my core values. And a P.S. Fuck you, Whitney, Alibaba. That last part did not exist at all. I think you can know when my fake quote got in there. But the rest of that was Meredith Marks. So thank you, Lush. My girlfriend said that Lush, she was like, that's a really good brand. I don't know anything. I barely shower or bathe at this point. I podcast way too much to bother myself with cleaning my own crevices. But she says Lush is an amazing brand. So congrats to Meredith getting the last laugh in the battle of the baths. So that was exciting. Also, thank you to Spotify for sending me this amazing Spotify sweatshirt. I think I have not spilled anything on it yet, but I just got this yesterday from them. So thank you to all of our friends over at Spotify. And I know you guys listen mainly on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. A lot of people are starting to listen. I guess on Spotify, they have this thing where you can comment. Try to keep it nice, but a lot of people are starting to comment over there. And I've been trying to interact because they have a neat little app for creators that makes it easy for me to see. So if you have any thoughts and you listen on Spotify, try to join in on the conversation there. Also, shout out to my baddies. What up, Patreon? We did the Patreon Live this past Monday, our holiday spectacular. And then I did something else on the Patreon this week. Oh yeah, I did a Kathy Hilton wrap-up of her DirecTV party. And then we have a Q&A episode I'm doing after this. And then Vanderpump Rules Season 2 episode... was it 3 or 4? I'm doing that tomorrow. So you'll have a couple Patreon episodes this weekend as well. And the great thing about this podcast, and yes, there is some great things, is that you can listen to these at any time. I mean, I'm not going to say these are evergreen, but it is one of those things. If you ever feel lonely, if you ever feel down, let us be the voice that lets you disassociate with all of the craziness going on in the world today. And I'm speaking to you, alien drones. I'm telling you guys, I told you this a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you listen every day, but I'm on Alien Drone TikTok. And I've now introduced a lot of people to Alien Drone TikTok. And these alien drone, well, I don't know if they're aliens, but they're calling them drones, but they're literally everywhere. They're all over New Jersey for some reason, which they keep saying it's like the most highly densely populated area. But like these drones are fixated on New Jersey, which is... I'm so proud of all my friends in New Jersey for having a space that a lot of these drones and alien drones want to just hang out at. But it is freaky, right? And what is it about us? It's like this with reality TV as well. We love mess. We love danger. We love something unpredictable. And I think we, take that from our actual lives. We daydream. I've been sitting here thinking about aliens, and it's probably not. It's probably it's probably just some little foreign adversary like China or Iran, but how exciting would it be if it were aliens? How exciting would that be? And if these are aliens, which housewife do you think will collaborate with an alien first? Do you think it'll be Brittany Bateman? Do you think it'll be Bronwyn? Which housewife is going to reach out to the aliens first and be the Bravo representative to the aliens? Something to really... Now I just kind of want to stop recording and just ponder that for the next couple of hours, because one of them's going to do a collaboration, or Countess Luann's going to invite an alien to do cabaret with her, and then it's going to start a fight because Bethany Frankel will wanted to have done like a TikTok mukbang or mukbang, however you fucking say the word where you just eat a lot of food on camera. Bethany Frankel loves to do these things. Like, she's going to want to eat with the aliens first. She's probably trying to get with some of those aliens into that reality reckoning lawsuit, which has kicked up a lot more dirt this week because of the charges against James Kennedy. We did a special episode on this yesterday. I tried to be as respectful as possible. And remember, I'm a doofus. I don't know the right things to say and sometimes the right terms. I try to handle it as best as I could. I wasn't trying to give James Kennedy a lot of grace. I was just trying to report what I knew. Well, as expected, I was waiting for some kind of response from James Kennedy or his team or even Allie, because as I pointed out in that podcast, Allie did a Christmas or a holiday event the next night after this incident, after we even knew about it. And she looked very happy. And there was like some paparazzi shots of her yesterday. And then we got James Kennedy in a paparazzi shot opening his door today. So we got that shot. Well, TMZ, this article came out at 9:58 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. James Kennedy, DV, which is domestic violence. Arrest was a misunderstanding. Girlfriend Allie standing by DJ. So they report they are putting up a united front. We've learned that the Bravo couple has no plans to split following the Vanderpump Rules star domestic violence arrest. Sources familiar with the situation tell TMZ the DJ and his astrologer girlfriend are sticking together in the wake of the controversy, with Allie choosing to stand by James in the situation. We're told Allie and James did have an argument Tuesday evening after they returned home from Kathy Hilton's holiday party. Sources say a neighbor caught wind of the spat, overreacted, and called 911. Okay, hey, Listen, I'm trying to report the facts here, but yeah, the neighbor overreacted. Yeah. That a horrible overreaction on the part of the neighbor. Now, some people could say, yeah, you're getting somebody into a lot of trouble, but obviously, this neighbor heard a very loud argument of some sort. And what I would be very curious about, because I would be curious if this neighbor has heard other things through the course of them living in their Burbank home that you can see all the airplanes go over last season of Vanderpump Rules. So a lot of, in my experience, or even in the past when I've thought of calling the police for some sort of loud noise or something, it usually isn't on the first time. It's usually in the past when neighbors have done, like, thrown parties again and again and again, and finally you're like, I'm at my wit's end. They don't seem to be doing anything about it, so I got to call the cops. And, that's sometimes, I think I've had one experience like that, like 15 years ago. But it took a lot for me to get to that point. So my curiosity is this an overreacting neighbor, or is this a neighbor that potentially has heard this a lot and was worried and had had enough? Anyways, TMZ goes on to report, we are told the whole thing was a misunderstanding. Well, TMZ, you should then give a big fat apology to all your readers and viewers, because if this is a misunderstanding, you are the first one to break this story. It says sources who spent time with Ali on Wednesday evening when she stepped out for Windsor's New Year's Eve celebration at Short Stories Hotel in Los Angeles tell TMZ James's girlfriend didn't bring up his arrest and seemed to be in good spirits. Well, the public did not know about his arrest at that point. In short, we're told Ali didn't act like anything had happened the night before. TMZ broke the story. The reality TV star was arrested for misdemeanor DV after Burbank police received a call about an argument between a man and a woman. We had been speculating who that woman was because they didn't name Ali, but it seems like through this article they are now confirming that the woman was Ali. Sources told us a witness saw James allegedly grab the woman during the argument. So now it's a little cloudy because it's saying overheard a fight, and now it's overheard a fight and allegedly grabbed the woman. Though we were also told officers didn't see any visible injuries at the time. James, who has been dating Ali for over 2 years, has enlisted legal counsel who tells TMZ that they are in the process of conducting our own investigation into the allegations, which is pretty standard fare for a defense attorney or somebody that you've hired in a situation like this. His attorney, Scott Lehman, tells us, we understand that there were no injuries, and we are hoping that, after careful review, the city's attorneys will decide not to file formal charges. James Kennedy himself, he has not made a statement yet, but he is not canceling his show in Milwaukee, the Salt Lake City from this trip. Amazing. Milwaukee, really having a banner year over there. So it looks like he's not canceling events. I did get sent a screenshot where a venue was offering refunds or canceled one of his events. I have not confirmed if that was the case or not. I'm sure more details will come out about that. I don't know how, when it gets to this point, if Ali's not pressing any charges, we'll find out what the police investigation lets us know, and the lawyers do their lawyering, which is this is what they're paid big bucks to do. Like I said yesterday, I don't know how this will affect his career. I would imagine poorly, but if nobody is pressing charges and there is if Ali is staying there, all this to be said is screw James Kennedy and all this stuff. For Ali Luber, though, like we said yesterday, I'm so happy that she is okay. I hope she has the best group of friends and family around her. She seems like a very clear-headed individual. None of this is her fault at all. I mean, by the way, this goes without saying, but I'm just saying it out loud. And I think there have been so many stories in the past, and obviously the Tammy Wynette song, Stand By Your Man, which Emily Simpson said in regards to Alexis Bellino, right? It's the Tammy Wynette, Stand By Your Man. That song was written for a reason. There are a lot of women that stand behind their men, and they do so when sometimes the men don't deserve it, right? And that's I think, the fear from a lot of things I've been reading. And obviously, Ali has had many situations with James and arguments and his drinking, but there hasn't been confirmation about any of his drinking or his drugging. Like I said, I had very little awareness besides a couple of instances about James Kennedy at the party at Kathy's. I wasn't, like I said, I was really fixated on the Salt Lake City ladies. And I felt like I was just like on cloud nine, even being there. And I've been around James so much that I wasn't like, ooh, James Kennedy. Like the more I think about it, like I did notice he would be with Allie at times, but then at times I saw him by himself or running over to his friend. But, nothing that I can go back and say, oh, now that I really think about it. But I think other people had instances. It's always interesting to see people come out of the woodwork afterwards and go, yes, I did think something was off, or I did think, I sometimes feel like I can tell when somebody's wasted or somebody's on drugs, and then sometimes I can't. I've been around people that I've found out that have been on drugs or have been drinking after the fact, and I had no idea at all. I mean, guys, myself included in that. When I used to drink or I would drink heavily one night, I always, people will tell me of like, oh, I didn't know that. And I was like, oh my God, I was hammered. Like, I don't recall past a certain point. I mean, there was one incident in particular that even scared me in regards to my own personal drinking. So that to be said, everybody becomes like witnesses or judges and juries and things like that. Unfortunately, James Kennedy has a pattern, a history of abuse with women that, we've just got to say that is what it is. Not it is what it is, but that's out there. It's out there. Like I'm not trying to like yuck his yum, or I don't know why I keep saying yuck people's yum. I'm trying to comment on a show that I've covered a very long time, behavior that we've seen, rooting for somebody, which I don't think we should get to a place where we don't root for people ever. But it is one of those things that does open your eyes and makes you re-examine your own thoughts on a situation. And re-examine all of the instances that you've seen with somebody. Just because somebody gets older doesn't mean they get wiser. That's an old wives' tale. That's almost like a myth. Like that is not necessarily the case. It's just not, unfortunately. And I think we want to believe that because we want to believe in the good of ourselves and humanity. Anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox, but that's all we got so far. I'm sure there's going to be so many other details about this, but just I hope that Allie is very protected, and it seems like, people go through really hard things in this life, and all we can... It's tough because I do these recaps where I speculate on a lot of things because at the end of the day, it makes me laugh. There's nothing about this story that makes me laugh. Like I even say there were elements once the Ariana stuff, it got further and further away that I found very bizarrely funny. I mean, you guys heard bizarrely funny. I found some of those things. There's nothing here that's funny. There's nothing, just nothing. So today though, we are here to not be funny, not to try. Listen, it's in the eye of the beholder if this is ever fun. I was told by somebody yesterday that I'm not funny, and while that's sad and potentially true, we're gonna keep on keeping on. We got to do what we've been doing for the last 5 years. And just trust me, I've been this weird my entire life. It's just that podcasting wasn't invented. And then when it was, I didn't even know that this was I didn't know it was a thing we could do. So we're all here together. And it's the holidays. I'm going to a holiday party tonight over at Sarah Colonna's I'm excited about. I spent 2 hours with Jeff Lewis and Shane, and we're putting together the live Chumpmas Spectacular next Thursday at the Brea Improv, which I'm so excited about. There are so many... It is just so fun to work on this and to ask Jeff questions about his life. And I was listening to old clips of Jeff, and I can't say the clip that I found that I particularly loved. But there is one clip that's going to be played at the show that is just the comic. He's not even trying to be funny, but the comic timing on it is so fucking funny. So any chumps out there listening or are going to be there next Thursday, I cannot wait. I'm so nervous, but I cannot wait. And, after next Thursday, that's when I can be like, it's holiday time. And, I'm going to go see, Dad and my sister for a couple of days. And then on the 30th of December, we got the final confirmation on my sinus surgery. So pray to God that I will not get sick every fucking 2 weeks in 2025. How exciting is that, man? Yesterday, I was going to try to push through and do the Salt Lake recap. and I got home from, I was on Cookin' Kibitz with Doug Buden and Joey Zauzig. It's this great cooking, fun show that Doug puts up on his Instagram Live every Thursday. You can go see it now, actually. And we were making shrimp cocktail and shrimp cocktail sauce, and it's live, and a bunch of people come and join, but you can watch after the fact. And I just had the best time, but I'd been working all day. I didn't get any sleep the night before. It was just one of those anxiety nights. And then got home, and I just like, I can't do it. I can't work. I feel like dog shit. I need sleep. So I knocked myself out and got a good night's rest. So I feel like a whole new person. I feel like a whole new man, or half of a whole new man. So yeah, so there's a lot of things to be thankful for. I'm so appreciative that you're here with us. So this next hour or hour and a half or however long we go, let's sit here and enjoy each other as a baddie family. And to all the haters, if you're listening, haters, why are you here? You don't need to, but God bless. God bless. Okay, are we ready to do this? Are we ready to get into the mess of Salt Lake? A place that I've seen it on a map, but there's no way you can convince me that this is a real place. There's no way that you can convince me these are real people. I saw a lot of them there the other night. I went home going, that might have been AI. I might have been interacting with AI, those Elon Musk AI robots, because you're having a conversation with these people and you're just like, what? Mary Cosby. I'm talking to Mary fucking Cosby. Are you kidding me? Mary Cosby? I had a normal conversation with Mary Cosby. My God, what's going on, you guys? Anyways, how are you? Did I ask how you are? I'm so sorry if I haven't. It's rude. I hope you're great. You're in the weekend now. You're protected by the weekend. But I hope you're having the best holiday season. Okay, did I get everything that I needed to get out? Maybe. Who knows? Let's go. Oh, one more thing. I just wanted to say we've had a lot of great episodes this week, and I know I put out a lot of them, and you guys are busy people. But just so you know, we did a supersized Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap this week. We had one of the VP of NFL Films talking about the new season of Hard Knocks on HBO that I just fucking loved, and I'm not even a sports fan, and I got so invested in it. That was so fun. What else did we have? We had Sammy Sage. No, that was last week. Sorry, you guys. Beverly Hills. We had a Bravo State of the Union with Yana Firestone, which I thought was a fantastic conversation. I think you will love that. And then we had Zachariah Porter and Jonathan Carson, these amazing content creators that also host the Camp Counselors podcast, which that was Monday as well. And I did a full solo pop culture wrap up on top of that. So there are so many great ways to keep up to date with So Bad It's Good. Now, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is I love, man, sometimes MacBooks, you guys, I'll have like 30 tabs open and then it's hard to find the tab that I'm looking for. This episode is called Rooms for Improvement. Did you see what they did there? Usually it's Room for Improvement. They did Rooms because it's multiple rooms that Bronwyn and these ladies are potentially upset about in their placement. Now, the description that the cable company gives us is Mary chooses to stay in Salt Lake City as issues with Robert Jr. comes to a head. So Mary didn't come on this cast trip, which is very sad, but I feel like you need more of a description here because it was a fantastic episode. Salt Lake does this kind of really interesting thing too, and I don't know if it's on purpose, where they ramp up their episodes. It'll start a little more serious, and then it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier until it's just an explosion of craziness. And I think I like it. I do. But it's just interesting that sometimes the bigger conversations, minus the Mary Robert Jr., which came a couple episodes ago at the end, usually they'll have more serious conversations in the beginning. We start off with Lisa Barlow saying, previously on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And we see that Meredith Marks had her being called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. And we see Meredith reading the Torah, and Meredith saying, becoming a bat mitzvah is it's a spiritual journey. Everybody saying, Mazel Tov, Meredith. And then, of course, the Robert Jr. flashback with Mary saying that, I feel like a stain. And then we had Brittany Bateman letting Maylee, hey, I'm Maylee. Don't forget me, I'm Maylee. And Bronwyn, Brittany's relaying to them saying, I am still upset with Angie for calling me a slut. She says, oh, you're sleeping with 10 guys. And Maylee's like, I didn't hear that. But, Maylee's probably not invited to a lot of the places where she would have heard that. And Brittany's like, well, that's probably because that's what she's doing with Sean. She's being a big slutty slut with Sean. And then we have that scene with Angie Katsunavis at the bat mitzvah with Bronwyn, and Angie's like, you tried to make things much worse between me, Heather, and Lisa and Whitney. And Bronwyn's like, Angie, we are not doing this. They left out the part where Todd was like, how's everybody doing here? I think we should, do you need a drink, Angie? Come on, let's stop this. And then Whitney in a conversation with Lisa where Heather is listening, active listening face. Whitney's like, I never said I want to take down Heather. And Lisa's like, you make up things and you lie. And then Brittany telling Angie, do you think my hair looks cheap? And Angie's like, it looks a little pornish. And Lisa Barlow's like, cackling right next to her. And Mary Cosby, when she hears pornish, Mary Cosby's like, zoinks, zoinks. And then Meredith at the end of last week's episode going, security, security. Meredith loves a good security moment. She had it last season in Palm Springs. Security, please escort her and her husband out. And Angie's like, really? Wow. And she's like, please leave. And Angie's like, what a fucking classless bitch. We established last week that Angie loves the fuck word. Nobody has loved the fuck word more than Andrew Dice Clay in the late 80s. And then at the very end, Lisa Barlow comes up to Meredith and goes, well, cheers to Puerto Vallarta. And Meredith's like, can't wait. Woo! And we find out that Lisa Barlow is the one throwing the cast trip. And Puerto Vallarta, these ladies have to think that they have just been invited to heaven after their time in Milwaukee. Like, we finally get a trip that is not in the continental United States. Guys, when I say that, maybe Puerto Vallarta is in the continental United States. Geography and a lot of other things are not my strong suit. And I also want to take this moment to apologize. In the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, was it the recap? I said, oh yeah, because the title of the episode was like Twisted Sisters. And I said Twisted Sister was the band with Dee Snider that said, you gotta fight for your right to party. And I was told 1,000 times that obviously is the Beastie Boys. That was the Beastie Boys. And you guys, the shame that I feel. Like, I don't think if you can see my bookshelf right there, or you can see this. I have a Beastie Boys book. I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. It just shows you the lack of sleep and the illness that I'm feeling at all times. And there is, as RFK Jr. says, there's a worm in my brain. There's just a worm eating my brain. So there truly is a worm eating my brain. Twisted Sister did not do that song. The famous Twisted Sister song that I was thinking of was, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. So that was the song that I was meaning to think of. And instead I apologize to the Beastie Boys. Rest in peace, Adam. And, anyways, my apologies. I get it wrong at least 1 or 2 or 80 times a year. My apologies. We start this week's episode with just the hills of Salt Lake. The clouds are moving fast. We hear some choir bells in the distance, and all of a sudden it's the fun upbeat down, 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 down. And we're at Meredith Marks's rented Airbnb, and she's sniffing something. And she's like, I kind of like lavender and clay. And we see Seth Marks chomping on something. He's like, I'm not in Columbus. I'm here in this Airbnb with my family, chomping on some chips and some salsa. And Meredith is making her daughter Chloe smell the scent. Like, which one do you like better? And Brooks is there. The family is all there. It's very nice. And Meredith's going, do you like the first one or the second one better? And Brooks is like, that one. And Seth is not being asked for his approval. He's just chomping on these chips. And Mary's like, so does that mean you like it, Brooks? And Brooks just pauses and he goes, no. Because Brooks had just said that it smelled like the Four Seasons. And they're like, well, do you like the Four Seasons? It turns out Brooks Marks does not like the Four Seasons. Wow, Four Seasons taking a shot, getting hit by shrapnel in this scene. They will never let Brooks Marks stay at another four. It's only going to be Best Western from here on out, Brooks. Anyways, Meredith goes, well, let's try a woods fragrance. Let's try a woods fragrance. And Chloe's like, so what do you do with these scents? And Meredith goes, they're going into the bath bombs and all the bath products. And that's when I realized, Lush, no wonder you sent these out this week because you knew Meredith was in the lab in her rented Airbnb working on these bath bombs and bath products. And I'm telling you, I'm smelling it right now. I do not smell the Four Seasons at all. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever stayed in a Four Seasons. It smells good. You know, I lost some of my smell during COVID and I never really got it back. But, you know, it wasn't like I was like a big smeller anyways. But she's like, yeah, I'm doing bath products. That's what I'm doing. And Seth is like, hey, it's all well and good, but I'm still totally stuck on your, you know, we can talk about bath bombs anytime you want, but I'm stuck on your bar mitzvah. What the hell happened? And Mary's like, well, I'll tell you, Seth, what set me off was when Brooks, our son, you know, he came up to me and he said, Mom, you should probably see what's going on with Brittany. She's crying. And 1 minute later, she comes walking in and I can see she had been crying. She was visibly very shaken up. And I was just bar mitzvah, so I knew that me and Meredith Marks, I'm the only one that can say this. I'm a do-gooder. I was called to do that. It's the only way that I would even feel good in this situation. I knew that I, Meredith Marks, the creator of bath bombs, could fix this issue in the ongoing slut shaming of Brittany, you know? I said, what's going on? You know? She says, she keeps slut shaming me. And Seth just looks concerned. And I said, who is she? And she said, Angie. Last night was all about not having hate. And slut shaming is hate. I think we can all agree with that, right? Right? Meredith? I agree with Meredith here. And Meredith's kind of like, you see? It's very simple. 2 + 2 = 4. In a talking head, Meredith goes, Angie's behavior has been despicable. She can sit and cry that she was thrown out at a religious event in which she shamed another woman. But I don't know why Angie is so consumed with Brittany's sex life. I think it's weird. Leave her alone. Do we all wonder if Jared Osmond is cut or uncut, or how much girth he's packing in those Osmond denims? Of course. But that's not my place. It's not our place to tear other women down. Angie continually hits below the belt set. It's mean girl behavior. It triggered the hell out of me. It did. And I'm not down for it. Is Meredith, but I am down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Who down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. But I'm not down for taking another woman down. That's where Meredith marks out the line. I'm not down. I'm just not down. So we cut from there and we go to the compound of Angie Katsunavis and why do a lot of the houses in Salt Lake look like they're just like, compound? You're just like, oh, that's where I'll stay when the apocalypse happens. You know, it just looks like kind of, you could tell they're really expensive houses, but it just seems like just concrete. Anyways, Angie is going on about her life and she's like, hey, do you want yogurt, Sean? And Sean's like, you know what? I'm good right now. Sean wearing the outfit that he feels best in, which is a baseball cap. He loves a good baseball cap. So he's turned down the yogurt. And you can feel that a conversation needs to happen. And Angie's like, that was a fun night. I'm so glad I went out of my way. He's like, how do you feel at this point, Angie K? And she's like, I'm pissed. You know, I felt like you and I went there with great intentions. He's like, of course. Like, I went in, I congratulated her. I went there with an open mind, an open heart. I mean, she invited us to her bat mitzvah, which you don't invite just anyone to that, right? Unless you just have no friends. I don't know. I mean, Heather's plastic surgeon was there. Maybe that's why she invited us. What a way to get a dig in there. I, too, was wondering why Heather's plastic surgeon was there. You know, it's like, oh, it's my ear, nose, and throat guy. Yeah, oh, this is the guy that takes the garbage on Fridays in the big truck. Yeah, let's get them all there. Like, how did Heather's, like, how much plastic surgery did Heather get this year where she was like, you know what, I'm going to throw in a couple party invites throughout the year just to keep on good terms. Angie in a talking head says, I haven't stopped crying. And Angie told me, I had not seen this episode yet, and Angie said, I cried for 3 days straight after I got kicked out of Meredith's bat mitzvah. And I said, oh my God, so like that's really real? And I don't, when I ask those questions, I don't mean it's all fake, but I mean like, so it really did affect you in a real way. Now, Meredith Marks was not at that Kathy Hilton party. But she's in this talking head. She's like, I haven't stopped crying since Meredith kicked me out of her event. You can leave, Angie K, with your slut shaming. She says it was so cruel. It was demeaning. It's obvious she's harboring old feelings. And I got to tell you this. I didn't tell it to Angie the other night, but I was thinking about it more and more. And I was looking into Angie K and her history and her past. I found out something that was alarming. I found out recently, Angie K, she's Greek. I don't know if you've heard this before. First I'm hearing of Angie's Greek. Do you think Meredith has an issue with Greek people? I hate to put it out there, especially around the holidays. I'm not down with the Greeks. I am not down with the Greeks. Angie continues, for Meredith to hold on to this so deeply that she brought it to her spiritual event in front of her mother and her children, even the one that doesn't like to be on TV. It's really embarrassing. She tells Sean, how the hell am I supposed to go to Puerto Vallarta with her, Sean? And Sean's like, I need you out of the house, so you find a way to go. He goes, don't let this woman put you in a position like you were in last night. And Angie's like, oh, no. She's never getting that opportunity with me ever again. Now back over to Meredith's rental. Chloe says, honestly, Mom, what sent me was when Sean was like, Meredith listened to both sides. And we flash back to that night where Sean is not wearing a baseball hat at the bat mitzvah. And he's like, hey, Meredith, you should hear both sides of it. And she's like, pardon? You should hear both sides. You should hear both sides. And we hear Meredith going, you have been asked to leave. You can leave. And Chloe was like, and you were like, I care about both sides. And Meredith's like, I don't. Because they spew lies, Chloe. They spew lies. They gaslit me over and over again about the comments about you. Brooks. About her comments on my hearing aids. And Meredith goes, she's coming to celebrate me. And she makes fun of my impairment? Now, remember, one of Meredith's storylines this season, she bravely lets us know that she has hearing loss and that she wears like hearing aids, you know, which is a really, I mean, a big deal. I think that's awesome, but like that is now turned into a storyline. We flash back to the Troop Beverly Hills outing, and we see Angie telling Bronwyn, borrow Meredith's hearing aids, turn him up, and hear me one more time. And Meredith going, oh, we make fun of impairments now. Oh, that's really good. Thank God I'm not in a wheelchair. Jeez. Back in the scene, Meredith goes, really? My disability? That's what she's coming to? And then Brooks goes, it's not a disability. It's your superpower. I know Brooks is actually trying to be funny there. And I got to tell you, he hit the nail on the head. That was fucking hysterical. It's not a disability. It's your superpower. And Chloe goes, it's an enhancement. And Meredith smiles like, it is. It's me, Meredith. That's right. I'm part of the X-Men. I have joined up, and my special superpower is my insane hearing ability. Yes. I will stop slut-shaming on every corner of the United States if I hear somebody saying anything in regards to a lady in terms of sexuality. Meredith Marks is on the case, because I ain't down with that. The sun goes down. We hear the choral chorus going, oh, 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 oh. I like when music picks up. Bow, 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 bow. And we're at another compound. And I was like, oh, we're back at Sean and Angie K's. But it is Angie K's, actually. And Mary Cosby all of a sudden is knocking on the door in her sunglasses. You know, God, and they have that clear door where you can just see. Could you imagine turning around a corner and all of a sudden you realize it's Mary Cosby knocking at your door? And I'd be like, oh my God, is this one of the angels to take me to heaven? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be immediately worried because she cuts a very imposing figure, even though the other night she was just such a sweet. She was just very, very sweet, very nice. I think she was a little overwhelmed by everything because she's a superstar now. Anyways, Mary realizes nobody's coming to the door. And she knocks again, knock, 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 tap, tap, tap. It's almost like the bat mitzvah when Mary Cosby was like, where is this bat mitzvah? And she was they were literally doing the ceremony and Mary's peeking in like, where is everybody? I'm here for the religious ceremony. Anyways, Mary tries to knock one more time and then she's like, F it, I'm just going to walk in. Now, I do think it is funny because there is a cameraman pointing a camera inside of the door at Mary outside of the door. So, yeah, there's a little suspension of disbelief because Mary can be, Mary's never like, hey, you camera guy, is anybody, what the fuck? Mary goes, Angie, I'm here. Angie, I'm here. I'm just going to let myself in. And she starts walking around. We see, by the way, Elektra. I love the prints at Angie K's house. They're all of her family in kind of exotic locations. It looks like a set from The Lion King or something. And we walk past one with Elektra, her daughter, and I think it's like a zebra. And I was like, of course. Listen, the only print I want, I mean, there's many now, but I still want one of Scheana and Mike Shay. One of those prints would be amazing. So Mary Cosby comes in, she sits herself down. She's like, oh, good. These dogs are barking, right? Puts her sunglasses on top of her head, starts fiddling on her phone. And then all of a sudden, Angie K walks in with like this big vase of huge flowers, doesn't see Mary at all, doesn't clock Mary at all. Mary looks over, sees Angie K put the vase down. Angie's still not recognizing Mary. And then Mary Cosby goes, peekaboo. And Angie's like, ah! Oh my God. Oh my God, Mary. And they just have fun. They are a dynamic duo. Angie is this season's Mary Cosby whisperer. In previous seasons, it's been Meredith Marks, and she has been replaced. So Mary's like, I hope you didn't mind that I let myself in. And Angie's like, I wasn't ready for you. I'm getting ready for you. Make yourself at home. And Mary Cosby just has the biggest smile on her face. You can tell how much she truly enjoys Angie, because we've seen so many scenes in the past of Mary Cosby just not enjoying it herself. But anyways, Angie's like, I was just working in the kitchen, and she presents this like amazing charcuterie tray. Whenever a charcuterie tray is placed in Salt Lake City, Jared Osman hears it. He's like, I hear there's meats and cheeses being put down somewhere. My Jared Osman senses are they're tingling. But this looks amazing. And Mary Cosby goes, I probably won't eat anything. I don't have an appetite, but it's beautiful. And Angie's like, well, you know what you're going to have to help me do, though? You got to open the champagne, Mary. And Mary's like, I do not know how to open champagne. And that, to me, is another sign of wealth. When you are so wealthy, because Mary Cosby has had the champagne, but she's like, I've never opened it. Wait, you're supposed to open it? It's always been handed to me. But Angie says, I'm so bad at it, but I can try. And I was like, oh my God, we can't afford to have one of these housewives lose an eye, because then we'll have Meredith's disability of not hearing and then Angie not being able to see. It really will be just such a cadre of characters. Anyways, Angie's like, together we can figure this out. And then the rest of the episode is them just trying to open the champagne. No. Anyways, do you realize also that Angie K busts out a bottle of Cristal? Cristal used to be like the premium champagne. I used to sell that at the bar. I think it was like $700 at a bottle back then, and that was like 2003. So I don't know I don't know if it's gone down in value or up. But anyways, they flash back to another scene where Mary Cosby and Angie K have tried to open a champagne bottle in the past, and they've had just a hard time. So this is a recurring bit with these ladies. Anyways, Mary's like, I think you need to untwist this part. I don't know what I'm doing. And the bottle gets uncorked finally. And Mary says, listen, I had a pretty, here, this champagne's for you. I had like a rough day, Angie K. And he's like, did you really? She's like, yeah, I did. Silence as we hear the champagne being poured. And Angie goes, "What's going on?" And Mary just looks at her. And she goes, I feel like, when your kids start acting weird, you know when they're not looking you in the eye, when they're avoiding you, when they're in their own little space. I'm like, okay, sit down and tell me what you're doing. And boy, did he. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Long pause. And Mary says, he opened up to me and he told me things that I didn't know. He just told me blank. He just said, "Mom, I did drugs." And she goes, "Oh." He was like, "Yeah, Mom, I tried this, I tried that." And I was like, "You tried what?" He's like, "Heroin." And she goes, open-eyed. And she's like, "Oh, Mary." He's like, "Mom, I was doing Xanax and acid. And then I just started trying other stuff. And then I tried other stuff." And then he said, "At some point, I felt like it almost became an addiction." And he's like, "Yeah, it is." And I said, like, "Not almost." And he's like, "Yeah. Yeah, it's an addiction, Mom." And so finally, we know this as the audience, but we have not had a scene yet where Mary has told one of the other ladies what is going on. So this is a very important revelation because Mary has had scenes with Angie K while we knew what was happening, but the other ladies presumably didn't. Now, if you listened to a couple of weeks ago, I went through that this had been going on for years. So I do think it's very brave, and I do think it is helpful to have these serious conversations on camera, but I do think there was an awareness from some of the other ladies or all of the other ladies about this. I don't know if that came from Mary ever at a certain point before filming, but I know they were aware from it just from articles and things like that, and they probably let Mary have a long leash on when to be able to come up with that story or tell. But I also don't think this was the first time in that scene that he had told Mary, because he had been involved with troubles with the law that I know Mary had to have been aware of years ago. Anyways, Mary continues. Then he says, "Mom, at one point, I didn't want to live." And Angie's just listening. And he said, "And you were the reason why I stayed alive," he told me. At one point, he's like, "Mom, I felt like a stain." And there's a lot of pauses in this scene, which I think works because it is real. It is this gravity of this situation, right? And we hear this kind of like little haunting key on a piano. Ding, ding, ding. Mary said, I asked God for you. I asked for you to be here, I told him. I prayed to have you. And she starts crying. "How are you a stain?" And Angie's holding Mary's hand and saying, "That is heartbreaking." I said, "Do you understand it took me 4 years to have you? I wanted to be pregnant so bad. And then to come here and get this far in life and you told me you feel like a stain?" I said, "What did I do?" Long pause. Mary's looking down at her hands. In a talking head, Mary goes, "What did I miss? Was I not paying attention? At some point that he went too far, that far? To the point he didn't even want to live?" And she's crying in the talking head now. And she goes, "And where did I not secure him? That he knows his worth. And he knows how much he means to me. And I just, what happened?" Can you imagine? Even you people out there listening, whoever, like you guys might have gone through situations like that. And this are the unfiltered thoughts of what potentially goes through a mother's mind or a family member's mind. What did I do? How did I miss the signs? Was I not enough? How did I, and in a lot of cases, I think that we personalize things way too much in life where you're like, well, you injected yourself into this and you didn't need to. I don't think this in this scenario. This has such gravity to it. And how would you not? Because it's so scary. It's so unknowable for so many people. Mary has never done a drug in her life, Mary said. She doesn't know what it feels like with drug addiction. Anyways, in this scene, she's now wiping her nose on Angie K's couch. No, she's wiping her nose with a napkin. We go back to the talking head. Mary's like, if I don't blame myself, whose fault is it? She tells Angie, "I feel like I'm responsible. And I always said, I'm not going to be that mom that knows I'm going to be that mom that knows who my kid is, because my mom didn't know me. My mom didn't know me. My mom didn't know my sisters and my siblings. She was all about herself." Isn't that the other interesting thing that we do? Is that, really is, how we're raised in this life. And you always say, I'm not going to be like this with my one parent, or I'm not going to try to exhibit this type of behavior. And life will always come calling in some way to teach you some sort of lesson. And it's going to be so painful and so hard to get through. It's going to test you. It's going to push you to your breaking point. Angie says, you did all the right things, Mary, but that could happen to anyone. And she goes, yeah, but it happened to me, Angie. Angie says, Mary, you can never put that on yourself, though, because addiction is real. It's a disease. And I had to tell myself that with my mother. Just it helps with forgiveness. Remember, Angie K had revealed her mom was an alcoholic. And she says, and also understanding where they're coming from. How did this happen? It's not the parenting. You did everything right along the way. In a talking head, she is now fully crying, Mary. And she says, it's hard. It's just really hard. Just as a parent, you could feel like you failed and there's nothing that nobody can do. And I don't have help. I don't have a mom. I don't have a grandma. I don't have nobody I can call and say, help me. My son is going through this. Help me. What can I do? But it's my responsibility to make sure if he comes to me and he says he wants help, it is my responsibility to say, to make sure he gets it. Whatever I have to do to get it, I'm going to do it. And she's wiping her ears and her eyes and her nose, and she's looking down at the tissue. And then we go back to the scene with Angie, and Mary says, so Mexico. And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about Mexico. She says, I want to make sure that Robert's good. I want to make sure my family's good before I come. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will. It will be done. I love Mary gets biblical, but it shall be done. I shall get to Mexico at some point. I shall. And then Mary goes, and Angie, I'm confiding in you, okay? I like that, Angie, I'm confiding in you, K, because her name's Angie K, but I don't think Mary planned. Anyways, Angie, I'm confiding in you, K. This stays here, Angie says. This stays here. And then they pinky promise. And there's a tight shot of Mary's pinky and Angie's pinky. And I started bawling because I think I'm going through menopause. I was just bawling. I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, please, Angie, let it stay there. Do not tell anybody. Angie, please don't blow this. Please don't blow this. Don't upset Mary. You have a beautiful friendship. Angie tells Mary he's lucky to have you. And she goes, thank you. Thank you. And Angie just shakes her head in pain. And that leads to our first break. So, like I said, a very, very touching, heartbreaking first scene. We come back from break and we go into the typical scene that we have now seen a billion times over all Housewives shows where they are packing. We got a packing montage. I swear to God, at the end of our life, I hope there's some sort of God machine in heaven or wherever we wind up that you can do little statistics. Because I have a feeling I've spent 10% of my life watching Housewives pack for getaways or getting in glam for like events. We have to at this point. I've had to have spent a solid year watching scenes like this. So Heather's like fiddling with her suitcase. Meredith is in the closet with somebody. And she's like, I need swimsuits, right? He's very aware. I need swimsuits. And by the way, I'm still thinking about, I don't see all the YouTube comments, but sometimes I'll see one. And I remember what somebody was like, Meredith Marks, really, Ryan, you think is a gorgeous woman? I do. I think Meredith Marks is beautiful. Like, are you kidding me? I still am like, what is, like, she's inarguably beautiful. Anyways, there's like, oh, I think this may be her housekeeper. I don't know who this is, but anyways, there's like a little like kind of, I mean, a little teeny tiny the swimsuit bottom. And she's like, is this a little too risque? And I was waiting for Seth to pop up. Nah, I want you to go buy, I want crotchless panties. The kind that Brittany wears for Jared Osmond. I think you look hot. I want to see what God gave you. You just had your bat mitzvah. You're a woman. I want you to show off your womanly goods. Please FaceTime me because I'll be in Columbus, Ohio, working at Big Lots. Big Lots. We don't sell a lot of those underwear things, so it's very hot and erotic for me to see yours, Meredith. Whitney's packing, and she's like, this could be fun. And Justin's wearing like this orange shirt, and his like coloring looks the same orange. It's like, is this the Salt Lake color of men? Because Jersey, we have them just as like bright red tomatoes. And this is like, I'm not like an orange, but what is this? Like a, I don't know colors that I don't know geography, color. I don't know a lot of anything. But his skin tone matches his shirt. And he's like, "You are packing again. You are just packing." She's like, "I just need to find a pink bra and pink underwear." And he's like, "Oh, that's not like a bathing suit cover? Oh, it could go perfectly with that pink bikini." He's like, "Yeah, that's cute. Good idea, babe." He's like, "That's what I'm here for." We cut from that, and then all of a sudden we see 3 days later and we see a flight taking off over a Salt Lake City sign, but it's not these ladies because these ladies are getting out of SUVs. I feel like we could also save, Bravo, if you're listening, I feel like we could save money on some of these SUVs. We need to like send like SUVs and like have 2 or 3 ladies in at once and start the cameras then. Because I feel like each one of these ladies have their own SUV and I'm worried about the bottom line. Bronwyn gets dropped off. Lisa gets dropped off. Meredith gets dropped off. Angie K, Brittany. No Maylee. Maylee's like, "Where the fuck did everybody go? It's me, Maylee." What? Heather in a talking head goes, "I'm really excited." Does Heather smoke? She has sometimes like not a smoker's voice in the sense of like Kyle Richards, but she sometimes on the higher pitch of her voice, she'll go, "Ah, ah," or it feels like a little smokery. She said, "I'm excited for this trip. I think I'm pretty good with everybody. I have no bones to pick, and with airport security everywhere, everyone seems to be on their best behavior." Uh-oh, another try and a fail on a talking head joke from Heather Gay. You know, that's what it is. It's not a fail, but it's just like, you know, when you start seeing through the Matrix and you're like, oh, I don't know if Heather writes her own lines or it's helped, but they're always kind of like set up punchline jokes of like, everybody's good because airport security might get them if they're not. Anyways, 4 of the ladies are walking, telling each other that they look great. And all of a sudden, there's like a little special effect that happens. It says recording, and there's like blue coloring, like they're being recorded by a video camera. And Heather Gay says, "You would never know that Angie and Brittany can't stand each other." And then we see more ladies walking in, and the voiceover continues. Meredith and Angie aren't even speaking. And then we see them talking again. And Whitney and Lisa basically hate each other, Heather says. And then she goes, "Thanks, TSA. We're off for a great trip." So Bronwyn then announces at the airport, she's like, "Oh, by the way, I have something for everybody." And she just starts passing out $1,000 bills. No, she doesn't that. And Lisa's like, "Oh my God, you didn't need to bring gifts. You didn't need to do that." And Bronwyn's like, "I have my little passport in one of these, so I got them for everybody." And they're these amazing bedazzled passport holders that like have some real, it looks like it has some real heft to it. And they're like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." You know, Maylee's like, "What about me?" Lisa in a talking head goes, "Bronwyn called me to ask me if she could bring something." And we flash back to 1 week earlier where Bronwyn's on the phone with Lisa going, "Can I bring something for the girls? Like, should I get a little gift for everybody? Are you doing something? And are you doing something like that for the girls?" And Lisa goes, "You know what? You know what? I got a gift for everybody. I just want you to show up." In a talking head, Lisa continues, I think Bronwyn only listens to Todd. Why should I think she should listen to me?" Ha 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 ha. Lisa asks Bronwyn, "How are you feeling? Are you feeling better?" at the airport. And Bronwyn's like, "I feel okay. Not great. I don't feel 100%. And Brittany's like, "What happened?" And Bronwyn says, "Well, I took one of my dogs to a dog park and somebody else's dog was unattended. They were on a call and this dog bit me." Ah! They show the fucking leg and the guys, I thought it was just going to be like a little thing. This looks like the leg is turned into a zombie. It's like 28 days later. I was like, "Oh my God, Bronwyn's turning. She's turning into one of the Walking Dead." This thing looked insane, you guys. Insane. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, "This dog bit me from behind on my calf, and as I leaned forward, he caught my arm and bit me multiple times down my arm." We cannot prove that Heather Gay was affiliated with this attack, but no, not at all. Anyways, Bronwyn says, "My arm's been in a sling, But I took a nap and it's all good. In a talking head, she says, right in time to get stitches and go to Mexico. And then Brittany says, do you know Chanel heals all wounds? So you're good. You're good. And then Heather Gay goes, so does tequila. So anyways, that was wild. Wasn't that? I mean, I was kind of blown away to hear that. I mean, that seems like a very severe dog attack. The mean streets of Salt Lake City just keep getting mean. But here's where the story gets even more interesting, and it is not covered on the show. So this is a People Magazine article from today by our buddy Dave Quinn and Vanessa Etienne from People Magazine. And she opened up more about the incident. And she said the dog suddenly circled around and lunged towards her, biting her behind the knee. And at that point, she says the situation escalated and she did everything wrong. She said, I know you're not supposed to scream. You're not supposed to jerk your arm. And I did all of those things. I totally freaked out. I had never been bitten by a dog before. I totally lost my mind. And I honestly think I made it worse. He did bite me behind the leg. He got me on the other side of my calf. As I tried to pull away, he got my other leg on the thigh. I think at that point I must have leaned forward or was trying to push him away. He ended up getting my right arm where my bicep is very badly and clamped onto my arm. I could not get him off. Newport says it took a bystander at the dog park intervening in order to get the unattended dog off of her. The police and an ambulance were called and she ultimately had to go to the hospital. I had 37 separate bites when I went into the emergency room. They had to do a really comprehensive overview. I had stitches in both my arms and my legs. When he clamped down on my bicep, he fractured it. I had a little hairline fracture on the bone and the bruising was really intense and it was throbbing. Newport later learned that the dog who attacked her was a foster dog left unattended while its caretaker was taking a phone call. She says, you've got to know if your dog is the kind of dog that can be at a dog park. You have to be watching them. If it had been an older person or someone younger than me, it could have been much more life-threatening injuries. I'm grateful they weren't. I did feel for the dog, she admits. I have rescued dogs who have been through it. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. Newport adds that the dog, this foster dog, also had medical problems that affected its behavior. So get this. She says that she and her husband, Todd Bradley, paid for the dog's treatment and made sure that he was placed in a proper home with a better environment. The reality star tells People that she's healed now and is working with someone to prevent scarring from the bites. Honestly, even as a dog lover, I was terrified of dogs for a long time afterwards. You just are. But the most important thing to me is that the dog is doing well and I'm doing well. And she says, noting that she also didn't press charges following the attacks. Now, isn't that just fantastic? That she actually made sure that they treated the dog that attacked Bronwyn and made sure the dog wound up in a really good, safe home. I mean, that really blew me away when I read that. And I wish that had been brought up in the show. I mean, I guess there wasn't really a place to put that in. It can't become dog hour, pound puppy hour on Salt Lake. But I just thought that was a little heartwarming. Like, a lot of people would be like, fuck that dog. But Bronwyn was like, let's take care of the dog. And then I got that dog a very beautiful bedazzled passport holder. So I don't know. I just thought that warmed my heart. Anyways, the plane is off. We see the ladies in first class. Ain't no party like a Lisa Barlow party, because a Lisa Barlow party don't make you sit in coach, biatch. We see Angie K snoring. And all of a sudden, we're in Puerto Vallarta. It's just that quick, folks. We're at the airport. Thank God Lisa Barlow did not lose any jewelry this time at the airport like she did in Palm Springs. And Lisa sees the driver and she's like, hey, that's for me. Woo! We see a sign that says Lisa Barlow and they're being greeted by all these margaritas. It's a fun time that's happening right now. And they're like, Lisa is awesome. They all enter the Sprinter van. Lisa Barlow's spilling her drink everywhere, but it's her party, so she can spill whatever she wants. And Lisa's like, I'm in heels. What was I thinking? Lisa Barlow tells the ladies, and the airplane bathroom, it was disgusting. There was like pee all over the floor. And Heather Gay is like, that was me. I didn't want to sit on it, and there was turbulence. Okay, so we see the beautiful beaches of Puerto Vallarta. Everybody's like, cheers to Mexico. Yay! And Lisa's like, you guys, this trip is going to be amazing. I promise. I made PowerPoints for everybody. Now, when I hear PowerPoints in a Bravo show, my two nipples go bling. I'm like, whoa, hell yeah. Remember the PowerPoint Stravi made in Summer House? What was that, season 5 or 6? When he was trying to like make an argument for getting Lindsay Hubbard back? Remember that PowerPoint? Like, when you talk about PowerPoint, I'm like, hell yeah. In fact, there should be something as a Bravo fan that you pay for extras where like, I want the PowerPoint. Like, I could take screenshots of the PowerPoint, but my God, I want this PowerPoint. Lisa in a talking head goes, I want every dinner to be perfect. I want every activity to be perfect. And then Heather Gay goes, ain't no party like a Barlow party. Everything from what flowers are in the villa. And then you can freeze frame on the image, and the PowerPoint's great. Vita Tequila is like in the bottom right hand, the logo with like pink, like just pink flourishes. And there's like a how-to for how to make a prickly pear cactus margarita with Vita Tequila. So this is a heavily Vita sponsored event. We see that all the ladies have Himalayan salts for everybody, hoodies, pink placemats, name cards. What she needs is jumbo Vita letters on site, a small pink floral by each person's station. And then we see like they're even provided hydration shampoo, daily mask and conditioner, No-Tox, Miracle Balm, chapstick. So she has it all. She's like, it's covered all in the PowerPoint. And then we see the setup for a cocktail how-to. The bartenders and staff wear Vita shirts. Must have a satellite bar with how-to sign on top with floral. Jumbo Vita letters. Backdrop with letters. Small bites to coat with tequila. Now, this is a pretty good PowerPoint, but when she says small bites, I want to get more detailed. What kind of small bites, Lisa? Lisa goes, the Notes app is no match for a Lisa Barlow trip. And she smiles. I mean, how do you not love Lisa Barlow? Like I said, I don't agree with a lot of the things Lisa Barlow sometimes says, but I just love her. I love her so much. I do. Anyways, we're at Vedanta World where they're staying, and Heather's like, Vedanta! Viva Vedanta! Lisa, this is beautiful! This is going to be amazing. So Heather Gay keeps going, this is going to be amazing. And then Lisa's like, come on, my chicas, let's go. And we see this beautiful property. And Lisa Barlow's going, hola, hola, hola. Upside, inside out. Living La Vida Barlow. Inside, outside. Living La Vida Barlow. They're welcomed by a host. They are offered champagne. And everybody's very excited to start this amazing vacation. We meet Lizzie, and this is Rudy. These are the people that are going to be taking care of all of your needs. You have 2 villas, we find out, and they're like, should we go take a look? And Lisa's like, yes, let's go take a look. And Heather's like, yay, Lisa, Heather, we get it. So they're going into the first villa, and you guys, it is talk about baby gorgeous. Even Angie's like, this is gorgeous. Everybody's like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh my God. And it really is a very special property. Now, each villa, there's 2 of them, but they're right next door to each other. We see all of the separate rooms in 4 boxes. We see the bathrooms where everybody will pee and poop and shower. And it just looks incredible. And Lisa goes, okay, so since we have 2 villas, I decided I'm going to split us up. Uh-oh. So in this villa, we have Meredith, Heather, me, Brittany. And then in Villa 2, we have Bronwyn, Angie, Whitney, and soon to be Mary. In a talking head, Lisa goes, the dynamics in our friend group aren't exactly great right now. I knew that I was good with everybody but Whitney. I love how open Lisa is about not liking Whitney. Like, I do not like Whitney at all. And then she goes, Whitney was not good with Meredith. And Angie was not good with Meredith. So I knew Whitney and Angie were good together, so I can put them in the same villa. Mary is also good with Whitney and Angie. So she was safe for Villa 1. Bronwyn does not get along with Brittany or does Whitney, and Angie or Mary. So I knew Brittany could not be in their villa. I knew I was good with Meredith, Heather was good with Brittany, and I was also good with Brittany, so that seems safe. There's a lot of work that goes into these things, but all of a sudden we hear a buzzer that goes, wah, and we see that Bronwyn looks a little perturbed, like, I don't like this. I'm suffering with a very big dog bruise, and I do not like these villa arrangements. And Lisa goes, you can run and pick your room next door. And so they all go and run to pick rooms and laugh, and Lisa Barlow's smiling, and Bronwyn in a talking head goes, I want to laugh, but really, I'm just so fucking furious about this rooming situation. Lisa is my closest friend in this group, so I know when Lisa's sending me a message, I am being put in my place, and I need to claw and beg and plead my case back into Lisa's good graces. Or, as she said in a previous episode, I need to ride Lisa's dick like it's my business. Now, the other night when I did talk to Bronwyn, there was a part of me that was like, Ryan, go for it. Like, say how much you like that line about riding Lisa's dick. And then I was like, I don't know Bronwyn in real life, so I can't just all of a sudden be like, you know, because you'd be like, who's the gentleman that was all sweaty in a Santa hat that said, ride my dick like it's my business? Like, that could have gone horribly wrong. That could have gone horribly wrong, so I did not. But there was that point where I was like, do I go for it? Do I go for it? And I'm so happy I didn't go for it. Anyways, Bronwyn's like, well, Lisa's like, well, she might have to plead herself back into my good graces after this snub. Like, or she means that about Lisa Barlow. So we get to our second commercial break. Now we come back and everybody is going to run to find their rooms. All the luggage is being brought in. And I think everybody is pretty happy with their accommodations. It's just that Bronwyn does not like their villa. But now when Bronwyn goes to her bathroom, Bronwyn's like, I need a bigger closet than this, Lisa. I just do. But Lisa's not in the room. She's speaking to herself. Whitney's putting away her accessories. Angie knocks on Whitney's door with a big flower. And Angie's like, I love your room, Whitney. And she's like, what do you think, Whitney, about the little teams in the villas? And Whitney's like, it was an interesting little separation, right? How did Bronwyn get kicked off the Cool Girls Club? And he's like, I mean, I didn't like what Bronwyn did at the party. There was a lot of questionable things that she was doing and saying. So I can see why they don't want her over there. And then there's a knock on the door. And it's Bronwyn. She's like, hello, am I interrupting? And they're like, please come in. And Angie's like, hi, how are you feeling? And Bronwyn's like, I just wanted to know what you guys were wearing tonight. Now, Bronwyn's kind of coming in, not like pouting, but like kind of skulking a little bit. And when he's like, well, apparently I brought a lot of cover-ups for tonight. And Bronwyn's like, you just brought cover-ups? If I looked like you, I'd just wear cover-ups and a swimsuit too. And then when he's like, Bronwyn, how did you get kicked out? Well, I think it's the Mean Girls Club. And Bronwyn does that thing where she's like, yeah. And her talking head, Bronwyn says, I don't know what I've done to Lisa. She knows I was physically attacked by a dog and physically feel awful. And of all people, Lisa knows that I'm going through with Gwen, my daughter, and how heavy that weighs on me. And we flash back to a scene from last week where Bronwyn is at dinner or lunch with John Barlow and Lisa Barlow. And Bronwyn saying, you know, there's a part of me for whatever, wants whatever is best for Gwen, but I don't know what is best for Gwen. And John's like, well, I was adopted as a baby, and Lisa tried for years to find my birth parents. And Lisa had this Hollywood ending of doors would open and doves would fly out. And Lisa's like, it was the exact opposite. And John says, yeah, she said once the baby was born, she never thought about it again. The baby being John. He's talking about this. And Lisa's like, it was traumatizing. And Bronwyn's like, okay. And Bronwyn goes, if you, John, could go back and choose, would you do it all over again? And he's thinking about it, and he's like, no. And Bronwyn's like, my concern is where I go from here with Gwen. And they're just kind of looking at each other. Now, you guys, if you watched the Salt Lake City After Show on Peacock last week, I think I mentioned this. It is like a great, like Lisa was pushing to get like John reunited with his birth parents, and it seemed like it was bad. Like John, it just seemed like it messed John up. And I was like, that is probably the blessing and the curse of Lisa Barlow. It's like she pushes for these things, and then sometimes they go insanely wrong. Bronwyn relates to the ladies, I've known Lisa almost 10 years, and since she's introduced me to you guys, I think our friendship has been hit or miss. I don't know what's going on, but I don't feel super close to Lisa. And I feel like every time I tell her I don't feel super close to her, she reminds me that we are close and everything is fine. And it's not. That's not the case. It is just not the case. And Whitney in a talking head goes, Bronwyn was so quick to throw Angie and I under the bus at camp day just to stay in good graces with Lisa and Heather. But look where that got you now, Bronwyn. You're stuck in the villa with us, with your tail between your legs. I like it when he's like, you're stuck with us losers. Look at you. You screwed up. Now you have to hang out with us trolls. And then she goes, and you better be crawling back to Angie and I because we're your only real friends. And she says this in a talking head, and Whitney adds like a little laugh, like, So Bronwyn goes, so I feel really weird about this rooming. I'm like, that's not what I would expect my good friend to do, is put me over here with you fucking losers. While she and Brittany and Heather and Meredith are just all scissoring, fucking getting best friend tattoos together. Like, I don't know what's happening over there. You're not missing out, Bronwyn. But I understand that feeling of being left out. I understand that. I think it's funny that Bronwyn went and talked to Whitney and Angie about it. Like, you know, we get it. Maybe don't share, like, that you don't feel like you're with the cool girls anymore when they have already accepted being on the outs. Like, there's power in numbers. Like, yeah, you know, it's like, be the best fucking loser you can be then. Like, have fun with being a loser. That's easier said than done, right? But sometimes as I get older, it's like, yeah, fuck it. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody, you know, like, that shit haunts you sometimes. You got let it go, let it go. Is that a song from Wicked? What is that? Anyways, we hear some trumpet music. So all of a sudden we went from the Coral Salt Lake music to a little more festive. Meredith comes into Lisa Barlow's room. It's like, maybe we can call down and get some extra garment racks for my crotchless panties. And Lisa's like, do you need them? I feel like you overpacked. Yeah, well, everything's on hangers, and like, I've only unpacked like a suitcase and a half, and I'm out of a room. And Lisa goes, oh my gosh, it feels good just to sit back. And she's sitting in this really plush little love seat. And Meredith goes, I know. How happy are you to be here? I'm so happy. This is so nice, Lisa. I love Jalisco. It's like my favorite state in Mexico, probably. Isn't it Jalisco? Anyways, because it's where Vita's made. Uh-oh, work trip, tax write-off. This is where Vita is made. Vita employs all of Jalisco. Yeah, tin roof, rusted. Meredith laughs. They both laugh. And then Meredith goes, how are you feeling about everyone here? Oh my gosh, it was so weird. Bronwyn called me and was like, hey, do you want me to bring something for everyone? And I'm like, no, don't. I have gifts for everyone. So it felt a little weird. Like, I'm like, why are you giving everyone a gift? And Meredith's like, you felt like she was kind of stepping on your toes. But Meredith going, but I am going to keep my passport, my glittery passport. I'm not giving that back. And Lee goes, it just felt weird because it's my trip. And I felt like, why are you bringing gifts? I have stuff for everybody. Like, I told you not to bring a gift. You don't have to bring a gift. I mean, but like Heather DuBrow has a whole fucking gift room at one of her palatial estates. Meredith goes, do you feel like it was kind of just like a screw you? And she goes, no. Or do you think she just sort of already ordered it and thought I'll just do it anyway? And then Lisa's like, no, it's like, I thought she was like, I'm going to do what I want. And it doesn't matter that it's Lisa's trip. Lisa can sometimes imitate other housewives. It's pretty fun. So Meredith goes, right. In a talking head, Lisa goes, I am starting to feel beyond annoyed. Like, I feel like if I don't say, act, do whatever Bronwyn wants, she's upset. She doesn't take anything that I'm saying, feeling, or doing into consideration. She just does whatever she wants, and I'm kind of over it. And then Lisa goes to Meredith, how do you feel about Angie? I made sure she was in another villa, just so it wasn't uncomfortable. She says, yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's just, you know. As recently about Mitzvah, she said so many things, mean things to so many people, whether it's slut shaming, whether it's shaming someone's business, someone's disability, and I don't vibe with it. I love, by the way, Meredith's use of like millennials, like, I just don't vibe with it, dude. The vibes are off, homie. homie, when I was it's just the homie, I'm trying. Wait, let's find other millennial words that Meredith could be using because I feel like she's now starting to reuse some of these words, and it's probably just she's a young soul. Millennial slang. Oh yeah, okay. I just feel like high key. I feel the aesthetic in here. That's very dope. It's very extra. It's very fit. It's very fire. I'll tell you that much. It's very fire. And that's what you're doing when you're adulting. And I might have to clap back at Angie K at some point. Because at the end of the day, are we all fam or are we not fam? She used to be bae, but she's not. And listen, I'm very busy, and that's not a humble brag, but high key, it's very true. She's coming off like very basic and very extra. And listen, I want things to be lit. And I don't want to become savage. I just want to slay all day. And she's coming off thirsty and a little sus, if I'm just being honest. And I'm not going to throw shade, but listen, I don't need her to stand me, but I want to ship our relationship, high key. What's up, my friend? What's up, homies? What's going on, my friends? Anyways, Lisa goes, she better be on her best behavior. Like, best behavior. And Mary's like, well, I don't know if that's going to happen. And Lisa's like, uh-huh. Yeah. Jalisco. Vida. So we cut to commercial break. We come back. All of the ladies are getting some glam done. And Meredith asks one of the attendants, do you know what we're having for dinner tonight? Would you mind just taking that bag and shoving it up your ass? No, it's a bag on her bed that says Brooks Marks. She's like, would you take that bag and you place it on one of the chairs at the table for dinner for me? And he's like, certainly. I really appreciate it. I really do. In a talking head, Meredith says, Angie was yelling and screaming on her way out of the bat mitzvah about the gift that she brought. And we see 1 week earlier where Angie's being thrown out by the bouncers going, I came with a gift. I came with a gift for tonight. Things are coming empty-handed to my party, Meredith. And then we see the flashback to Meredith opening this gift in front of her family. Let's see what her thoughtful gift is. And she pulls out this gigantic jug of shampoo. And Brooks is like, is that dish soap? What is that? And Meredith's like, well, it looks like we have shampoo and conditioner from her own salon. Brooks, Chloe, could you read the ingredients? And Chloe's like, yeah, there is sulfate in this one. So that was not thoughtful. In a talking head, she goes, she knows that I cannot use that shampoo. I have keratin in my hair, and it needs a sulfate-free shampoo. Are you fucking kidding me? She could literally kill my hair. I would not fucking know. I mean, and then these bottles of shampoo, they're like hundreds of dollars, I looked up. So it's wild. Like, I wouldn't have known the fucking first thing about any. I wouldn't even know to be offended. But that's how, I love that Meredith's offended about the shampoo. And so Meredith goes, so she can have it back. So what's in that bag is the gift that she's having the dude place at the dinner table. Man, that is a housewife move if I've seen one, So it's starting to be nighttime. All the ladies are in like this foyer of one of the villas for dinner. And Lisa's like, hi, girlies. Are you guys ready for dinner? And they're like, yeah, free dinner. It's our first night here. We're going to start with poolside cocktails, and I have a beautiful dinner planned for all the girls. And I'm so excited to see everything in my PowerPoint come to life. We get in a little golf cart to take us to the drinks and dinner, and Lisa asks, like, do you have air conditioning in the golf cart? And Angie's like, oh my gosh, Lisa. Yeah, I mean, air conditioning in a golf cart. Just go faster. Okay, we're here. Hell, we're here at the drink stop. Let's do this. And it's like this beautiful place. There's going to be a margarita on the rocks made with Vita tequila. He's like, it is made with tequila Vita? And everybody's like, yeah! Woo! Guys, this weekend, if anybody serves you any kind of beverage, cheer for it. Like, oh, here's some Diet Sprite. Woo! Diet Sprite! Hawaiian Punch! Water! Woo! Vita water! And Brittany goes, should we cheers to something? And then Brittany says, oh, actually, no, I have an announcement. I have an announcement. Lisa in a talking head goes, Brittany needs to stop with the announcements. For her, anything can qualify as an announcement. And then we flash back to one of the first times Brittany said, I have an announcement, and Mary rolling her eyes. And then another time where Brittany's like, guys, I want to make a toast. Ting, 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 ting. Lisa Barlow goes, every 5 seconds, it's like ding, 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 ding. Ding. I have an announcement to make. I'm going to the bathroom. But Brittany at this one, she's like, this is serious, you guys. So you guys all know, like, that I've been struggling with my daughters not talking to me and stuff. That's, like, really dark. I was like, shit, we're going to start drinks with, hey, guys, you know how some of my kids don't want to have anything to do with me? We're going to whoop it up in a set. Like, Vicky Gunvalson would freak out. But she goes, but Olivia, we've made such progress with her daughter, Olivia. So she's telling all the girls at the beginning of the night, she goes, one of my daughters is talking to me. She actually came over the other night, hung out with her friend. We talked for hours and she spent the night. I had to hide Jared in a closet. No. But anyways, we hear crickets chirping. The producers are so shady. Chirp, 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 chirp. And Brittany's like, huge. And Meredith goes, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, it was great. I mean, huge progress. And then Meredith goes, and meanwhile, you get to make a wish. And Meredith puts her finger on her eye because I guess there's an eyelash. I hope Jared Osmond loves me forever. In a talking head, Brittany says, this is a really big deal. I have 2 beautiful daughters from my first marriage, and they're not speaking to me currently because of things that happened in my second marriage. Now, they show us a picture of Brittany and her daughters. Now, one of the daughters' faces is blurred out. One of the daughters' faces is not. So I don't know what that approval process is or why only one is blurred out and one isn't. But Brittany says, but we're finally making progress and no one says anything? Dude, ouch. I mean, maybe if you'd said it later in the night, like it's a big thing to start the night. Like it's like with drinks. Anyways, so they all go to sit down. Heather goes, muchas gracias. So they go to sit down to have a little conversation. And Lisa goes, I think it's so beautiful here. And Brittany's like, I love it here. And Lisa's like, do you guys like your sweets? And Angie's like, I love it. And when he's like, yeah, it's great. And then Bronwyn's like, I'll be the contrarian then. And Lisa goes, contrarian. And Brittany's like, contrarian. That's the word of the day. And Bronwyn goes, I was surprised about how, like, the room assignments landed. I'm going to be honest about that, yes. And Heather gives a zoinks face. And Lisa's like, what about them? And Bronwyn's like, you and I are the longest friends. And then, yeah, you put me in a villa with 2 people who aren't speaking to me. 2 losers you put me with. And Lisa's like, are you guys not speaking to Bronwyn? And Bronwyn's like, well, I mean, we talked today because we're all in there together, so we got to figure it out, right? And Lisa's like, I feel like you guys are right next door, and I didn't think it would be a problem. And Bronwyn's like, but it's a little weird that you didn't care at all, Lisa, especially where I am physically right now. But I mean, I think you're in a beautiful villa. This is like an amazing trip. It's totally beautiful, Lisa. I just was surprised. Everything is perfect about this. I'm just going to always be honest with you, Lisa. I was surprised. You and Brittany are like newly friends. Well, and then Brittany goes, well, maybe she likes me better now. I love Brittany, like always. Well, maybe I'm the winner. Maybe I'm the winner here. And then Lisa goes, no. And Brian was like, maybe. Fuck. I mean, I hope to mazel. And Lisa's like, it's not an insult. And Brittany's like, I'm so happy that I'm with you guys. And Lisa's like, I said to Whitney, and Whitney's like, that's offensive. And like, there's like 3 conversations happening right now, which all I can say, you know how much I love when 3 conversations are happening, because it reminds me of old Real Housewives of New York, when you could watch a scene 3 different times and pay attention to a different character and you'd see a different conversation or hear a different conversation happening. So there's like these little side conversations. And that's what I'm saying. The pacing and the relationship, it's all coming together where so much is happening that you can repeat view this show and pick up on things that you didn't like. Brittany's having a whole scene of her own, like on the side of the Lisa and Bronwyn scene. Whitney says, Brittany doesn't even realize that she's a pawn. She's just the message that Lisa's trying to send to Bronwyn. Like, I'd rather have Brittany than you. And that is the ultimate diss to Bronwyn. And Brittany doesn't even fucking get it. What? Okay, but I know the first episode, you know, Brittany made that mistake of calling her and Mary's outfits costumes when it's couture. I understand that, but is there something else that Bronwyn really dislikes Brittany for? Like, I feel like I've missed something at some point, because it really does seem offensive. Whitney in the scene goes, I think usually we pick our own rooms, we're not assigned. And Bronwyn's like, here's the thing. The thing is when I felt a certain kind of way about it. And Lisa goes, well, I feel differently. And then Bronwyn's like, well, I guess I'm going to listen then. She's not even going to listen to me now. Okay. And Lisa's like, I'm listening. Silence. Intense music starts playing. Ding, da, ding, da, ding, ding, ding. It's like Mission Impossible. Dung, da, dung, da, ding, da, dung, ding, dung. And then Bronwyn goes into a lower register and she goes, you're getting a little bit of bass in your voice, Lisa, when you're speaking to me, and you're telling us what rooms to be in, and I shouldn't be uncomfortable, and poor Brittany was so uncomfortable. You're not trying to understand me. And then Brittany tries to butt in, and Bronwyn's like, I don't need the help. Like, literally, like, Bronwyn knows how to fucking, like, she can have things coming from all angles. She's like, I'm good. I'm talking to you, Lisa. And Brittany keeps going, well, you're attacking me. And Lisa's like, I heard everything you said. And then Bronwyn, still to Brittany, goes, I'm not talking to you. I'm speaking to Lisa. I'm not even looking at you, Brittany. She goes, I'm not even looking at you. Like she's Irish. I'm not even looking at you, Brittany. I'm not even looking at you. I'm not even looking at you. And Lisa goes, I totally heard everything you said. And in my mind, they're all beautiful rooms. And as far as I'm concerned, they might as well be connected. They're right next door to each other. So if it's such a small deal, Lisa, and I'm misunderstanding, then why don't you just say, Bronwyn, it's a small deal you're misunderstanding, instead of being like, actually, I gave you a beautiful room. Actually, well, because that's how I feel, Bronwyn. But you're not understanding how I feel. You're only seeing what you're doing. Bronwyn, I am your friend, and I showed you I'm your friend. It's weird that anyone has a problem with any of the rooms. I don't have a problem with the room. I have a problem with what's happening between you and I, Lisa. And they're just staring at each other. Bronwyn's shaking her head. I'd rather that as friends you could hear out what I'm saying and say, damn, I'm so sorry that you felt that way. Let's fix it, versus telling me to be fucking grateful that Lisa Barlow took me on a trip. That's not the way to handle that with me. I don't think anything I would do would make you feel grateful compared to the other trips you go on. And I go on luxury trips too, which is when I do a trip. So Lisa's now saying, hey, you go on a lot of luxury trips? I go on luxury trips, biatch. And Bronwyn's like, oh, so I'm snobby now. Well, when I do a trip, I like to make sure every single detail is to perfection. And Bronwyn's like, let's be real clear about who wasn't grateful about whose trip first, Lisa. Yes, let's fucking fight about trips. So exciting. Fuck fighting about BravoCon. Fuck fighting about Amazon Live. Fuck fighting about podcasts. Let's fight about fancy trips. I'm gonna lose. This is awesome. Lisa, it was you who bitched and moaned about the trip that I took you on. And we flash back to Palm Springs trip, and when Lisa found out she was coach, and Bronwyn's like, it's like a 65-minute flight. And Lisa's like, it's none of the accoutrement. And John goes, it's a whole hour and a half. We're gonna be basic, John. And then Lisa in this scene goes, oh, because I didn't want to fly home coach. I don't fly coach. I would never fly commercial. And Bronwyn's like, I'm sorry, I flew here commercial. Did I not? Did you spring for a plane for all of us, Lisa? You flew first class on Delta. And no, I did not spring for a plane for you guys. Instead, I put the money towards a plane for me and my husband to go to London this summer. So, and Bronwyn's like shaking her head. And Lisa goes, the lack of gratitude. Like, oh my gosh, I put so much time into this. You're missing the point, Lisa. I'm not saying to you that I wanted a different room. You're saying that you didn't want, it's a little fuzzy there. I'm saying I wanted you. I wanted to be with you. You know what? You know what? You're right next door to me. You know what? I want Lisa to be my friend. I'm like, Bronwyn now going too hard in the paint. And it's sad because it's all about, like, once again, dude, this is how powerful Lisa Barlow is. You know, a lot of people have strong opinions about Lisa, but you can't deny that all of these women want to be fucking close to Lisa Barlow. Heather Gay, since the first season, wanted Lisa's approval. Brittany wanting Lisa's approval. Lisa, and it's, you know what it is? Because Lisa does give a flying fuck, but at the same time, she doesn't give a flying fuck. And that kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, Lisa lives in Lisa's world, and but it's so interesting. Like, it's like everybody's like spinning around Lisa, and Lisa's just there being a planet. And Lisa's like, you're right next door to me. You're with Whitney. Other than sleeping and taking a shit, you are with me. But Lisa, I want to take a shit with you. I want in the same bathroom. I want to be sitting right next to you while you're shitting right next to me. That's what I want. So more silence as all the women look at each other, and we cut to another break. How intense is this? We have now talked about bathroom habits with each other. And then Heather goes, it's not like we're all together. We're all in separate rooms. And Bronwyn's like, I don't care about a room. I wanted to be comfortable with the only person here who I think really knows me and has my back. And I do. And I do. And I do have your back. And instead of hearing me out, you've called me snobby. You said I'm being ungracious. More pauses. In a talking head, Bronwyn says, this has been a long time coming. Like, Lisa has some pretty harsh opinions about me to say we've always been friends. She doesn't know why there's a problem. She defends me. She has my back. No, that has never been the case. And I am at my breaking point with it, honestly. And then Heather goes, what can she do to make it right? She can give me 20% stake in Vida Tequila. You know what Bronwyn should do is have Todd buy out Vida Tequila. It's like do like one of those Succession corporate takeovers. I own Vida Tequila now. It will now be called Bronwyn's Ass Tequila. No. So Heather's like, what do you need her to say or do? And Brittany's like, I'm not trading rooms. I'm not trading rooms. And Bronwyn's laughing like, oh God, are you crazy? And Bronwyn's like, I don't want someone to trade. And when he's like, how about just say, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, Lisa? I don't say things the way somebody else wants me to say them. I say things the way I want to say them and the way I feel. So you're never sorry. If I was offered, don't shake your head, Bronwyn. I'm telling you, we can't go back in time. We can't go back in time. And all of a sudden, this guy's like, ladies, sorry to interrupt. Sir, we will not have interruptions right now when this fucking band is flowing. We got jazz music being played. You do not need to interrupt. Are you going to fucking interrupt Taylor Swift in the middle of the era? Hey, guys, sorry to interrupt. It's getting late here. No, you let these ladies cook. They're doing what they do best, fighting. He's like, sorry to interrupt. Your table is ready. And then Whitney's like, yes, let's go get the salmon. Why? Did I miss a scene about the salmon? Yes, let's go get that salmon. And then Heather stands up. I love this Paloma. It's delicious. Okay. Bronwyn walking with the other ladies to dinner, and she keeps talking to Lisa. I'm trying to tell you how I feel, and you keep A, talking over me, and B, making it out like I'm feeling ungrateful, and then kicking me in the face by saying I'm snobby, and I'm not up for it, Lisa. I'm really not. Now, yes, man, Bronwyn's like hitting the same note. And I feel like at this point she's now hitting the note over and over again because maybe there's a sense of, oh, maybe I've went too far in this. And sometimes when you feel like you've gone too far in this, you press the pedal to the metal even further because you're like, I'm in this deep. Let's keep going. And Lisa goes, you feel a lot of things. This seems to be a constant thing, and I guess I'm not up for a lot of shit from you then, Lisa. That's how that is. I love Bronwyn's voice because it'll be like this, and then it'll be like that. Oh, that's how that is. I like it gets lower. Lisa goes, I mean, it's like making shit out of nothing. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I want to shit next to you in a bathroom. I can't even do that. And Lisa comes up to the host and says, hi, can we get a table? We have a table for Lisa Barlow. Thank you. So they're getting seated to the table. And Lisa's like, my intention was just to come here and have a great time with you. And Bronwyn's like, Lisa, I can have a great time, but I can also tell you how I fucking feel. And you can be a mature enough person to hear it without trying to tell me I'm wrong and I'm a moron. I didn't tell you you were wrong. Not one time did I say you were wrong. I'm just expressing my point of view. You implied that I am wrong and that I am being ridiculous and I'm being snobby. That is telling me I'm wrong. I think it's ridiculous to hear your friend tell you she tried to give you the best room and make you the most happy. And then Brittany keeps trying to throw in, you're insinuating that I switch rooms and I don't want to. You're insinuating that I should switch rooms with you and I don't want to. She's not insinuating that. And then Angie notices that there's a gift on her chair. And Angie looks at Meredith and goes, did you give me a gift? And Meredith is unfolding her napkin, and you can tell she's already secretly pleased with it. Wait till she get a load of these shampoo and conditioners. Maybe she can shove one of them right up her butt. And we keep having the room. Bronwyn's like, I have never once insinuated you switch rooms, Brittany. Angie K's looking in the bag. And Brittany's like, you have too insinuated. You actually called me out on it. I don't want your room. Now Angie sees what's in the bag and all of a sudden looks up at Meredith. So there's this whole conversation happening, but there's this whole other side thing happening with Angie K and Meredith Mars. It's so fucking good. And then Heather Gay all of a sudden goes, why does she have a Brooks Marks bag? Producer's pet, making the scene go where she thinks they want it to go. It's a Brooks Marks bag time. We're not gonna fight over the rooms no more. No, we're not gonna fight the rooms. We got a Brooks Marks bag and Angie looks hurt. Well, what's in the fucking bag? Does Meredith Marks recently bat mitzvahed have something nasty in the bag? And what's Angie K gonna do when she opens up and sees shampoo for you and the ladies? And then Angie goes, why do I have a Brooks Marks bag, Meredith? And Meredith just says, I don't know. And then Angie K goes, I also love that, like, you make everything a merch moment. How fun, because it says Brooks Marks on the bag. Once again, Meredith, and so she starts taking out the massive shampoo and conditioner. And Angie's like, oh, here, let's see. Look at this. I brought you a nice journal. Also, the journal's in there. I guess she gave her a journal. And Angie's like, so you think I came to your bat mitzvah with all of this shit for you and it was passive aggressive? By the way, you know how much, like, sometimes those airlines will charge you if your bag's over 50 pounds, but Meredith's like, gotta make room for all these gifts. I've got an 80-pound bucket of shampoo and conditioner. I gotta throw that in there. But Meredith, like Angie's saying, Meredith's just staring at her. Staring at her. She kind of looks like Megan, that AI movie, you know? I am Megan. And then Meredith goes, I heard that you wanted everything back till you brought me, so I brought it back. And Angie's like, is that what I said? And now Bronwyn's picking up on, like, what's going on. It's like, well, fuck me sideways. Is that not what you said, Angie K? Is that what I said, Meredith? That's what I was told you said. That's what I said, Angie K. Now it's like a who's on first. Is that what I said? That's what you said. You know what I said. Is that what I said? And then she goes, is it what you said? Or is it not? Who said that, Angie says. Did you say it or didn't you? And this lasts for a whole hour. And a talking head, Heather goes, I swear I've heard this argument before. And then we flash back to 3 weeks earlier and we see Meredith with those bangs! The Audrey Hepburn bangs! No, please! And we hear Meredith at Mary's going, I said if you want to go backwards, we can do that. And Angie says, you said if you want to go backwards, we can go backwards. Yeah, but I don't want to. And Angie says, you said it. I know, but I don't want to is what I just said. we flash. Then Heather goes, at least they're consistent. Heather's always the person just commenting on other people's behaviors now. Angie in this scene goes, I was very emotional and very hurt and very heated. I said I brought a gift because I was... And Brittany said something like, and Angie's like, Brittany... And Brittany's like, I was a part of this too. Brittany's like, I don't want to be a melee. I'm here. I am here, damn it. And Angie's like, fucking stay out of it. And Brittany's like, in fact, I'm the reason that you got kicked out, Angie, in the first place, because apparently you have a history of slut shaming. Am I right? And Mary's shaking her head. I'm like, yes, that's what I heard. Yes, it's very true. Yes. And Angie's like, why are you stepping into this? And Brittany's like, because I would have done the exact same thing. And then Angie's like, take the shampoo because your hair's fucking fried. Okay, but Angie, pick a lane. Does she have like high body count hair or the hair's fried? What's going on here? And then she goes, take it. You need it and your hair looks like shit. And throws the bag at Brittany. And Mary's like, wow. And Brittany goes, that was a whole new low, Angie. And Angie's like, that was an accident. I handed you the bag. And Brittany's like, no, you threw the bag over the table. I did not realize the bag was upside down, you drama queen, Angie says. And Lisa goes, oh. We have these little like discordant little piano keys. Ding, 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 ding. So everybody's looking. Heather's looking. Brittany all of a sudden goes, oh, I'm always looking for a problem? I'm the drama queen? I didn't toss a bag full of shampoo. Angie goes, keep your mouth shut. And Brittany's like, that was rude. Stay out of a conversation I'm trying to have, Brittany. And Brittany's like, it has to do with me because you slut-shamed me. I slut-shamed you? And Braun was like, it's not what happened. It's not what happened. And Angie keeps going, Brittany. And Brittany's like, you said I was effing 15 people at the same time. And they're like, I didn't say you were effing 15. And Meredith goes, no, she said 3. She said 3. And Brittany's like, at my Mormon family night at my house, I had flowers on the table from someone else that I was dating. And you said, oh yeah, that's someone else that you're effing. Heather was standing right there. And Heather goes, I do not remember you saying effing. And Angie just kind of looks with this like little smirk on her face. And then we do one of those like we're rewinding back and all of a sudden we're in Salt Lake City. And Heather Gay at this night with Angie K and Brittany. Heather has like the flower little card. And Heather goes, can I read it out loud? And Brittany's like, yes. And the quote from the guy is, I just think about you all the time. And Angie's like, which guy is it from? And Heather goes, it's from guy number 1. And Brittany's like, Aaron. Yes, Aaron. Yeah. And then Angie says to Brittany, does your dad know that you're dating 3 guys? And Brittany's like, yeah, he's dated 8 women, And then they're like, oh yeah, she's doing 3 guys. And Brittany's like, where do you think I get this? So like Brittany, it like seems to be fully in on the joke in that scene, but now we're throwing slut shaming on it. It's very confusing. Angie in this scene goes, so you wait till another religious event and said that I was slutty. And Brittany's like, I did not call you a slut. You called me a slut. You started that, Brittany. No, you started it. You absolutely started it. And Meredith goes, we heard it at Mary's. And we flash back to Brittany at Mary's brunch saying, I wouldn't drink in front of my church group. Like to walk into a church group and then Angie going, sorry, you're doing 3 guys and you drink and you're claiming to be some total Mormon. And Brittany going, I'm not doing 3 guys. Wow. And then we just see a shot of Meredith with her bangs. She's like, back in this scene, Angie goes, you went over and you told her that I was slutty. But why did she say you were slutty? And Lisa's like, why did she say that to begin with? And Angie's like, stop always sticking up for everyone else, Lisa. I'm not sticking up for everyone else. You do, Lisa. You've got your friends who you want to take up for. And Lisa's like, no, I'm not taking up. I'm like, I want to speak in fact. And Brittany's like, amen. Facts. Amen. And he's like, you're sticking up for everybody else. And by the way, this is another one of those scenes where 3 separate scenes are happening. It's a choose your own adventure. Choose which way your imagination wants to take to in this scene. And Lisa goes, Angie, I have had your back more than anybody at this table. And she's like, right now you're not, and that's fine. And then all of a sudden Lisa does that explosion. Why can't we talk in fact? It's why can't we talk in fact? But she goes, why can't we talk in fact? Why can't we talk in fact? Why do we have to lie? You said it to her. It was about a bottle of fucking wine. Who gives a fuck about the wine? And then you said you're doing 3 guys. And Brittany the whole time keeps going, amen, right. Yep, sing it, sister. Amen. And then Lisa goes, those are not the same weight, Angie. And Mary's like, it's not. It's just not. And if you said that to me... And then Meredith is just mumbling. She's like, I don't know. It's enough. It's below the belt over and over and over. And then all of a sudden Brittany goes, you said slutty tits. You said slutty tits. And then all of a sudden we got this guy. Buenos noches. Allow me to introduce my name. I am Carlos. I will be your waiter tonight. Carlos? Pardon my language, get the kids out of the car wherever they're listening. If you were listening as a family, all the kids out. Carlos, fuck off. What is up with this hotel? I'm about to write a Yelp review. A lot of interrupting at this hotel and its facilities. These ladies are giving their all. It's the Olympics right now. And I'm like, I am Carlos. No, Carlos, stand aside. The salmon can be under the heat lamps. And they go, sorry, buenos noches. Would you like to order some drinks? Literally, Brittany just said, you said slutty tits, and then we got interrupted. And I'm like, where is Brittany going? More about these slutty tits. And then Brittany does continue. She goes, you seriously said I have porn star tits. And then Angie leans back, sits back in her chair okay. And Carlos is just staring. And a big pause. And then he's like, would you like to order? Would you like to order? We cut to commercial, and Angie, we come back, and Angie's like, oh, Brittany. Would you like to order some drinks? You started it, Brittany, and then I got kicked out. Can we order and then move on? We'll get back to the slutty tits, please. So they're like, order shots of tequila, ASAP. And Heather's like, por favor. Mary's like, I would like a Cabernet, please. Please, thank you. Pinot Noir, Angie K says. Pinot Noir. So he leaves. And Angie's like, Brittany, I would love to get through this conversation with Meredith. And Meredith's like, I do want to understand because I don't understand. With everything that went on over the last couple of weeks before my bat mitzvah, I was confused why you even really wanted to be there. I have to be honest. I do. Silence. And Angie's like, I wanted to be on a path forward with you. I felt the only way to do that was to continue on a positive trajectory. Support your family. Support this milestone in your life that I thought was very important. It was my first bat mitzvah, and I was grateful for the opportunity to be a part of it. I updated my LinkedIn. I was blindsided. I had no idea that you were going to kick me out. Security guards. And when you started yelling at me in front of your children, Heather's daughter, your mother, your sister, Heather's plastic surgeon, I did everything right. I showed up. You didn't do everything right because you slut-shamed her. As you've done to me, as you've done to Heather, and Brittany underneath Meredith goes, thank you. And Brittany's like, everybody who's fighting, she called me a slut. And Brian was like, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And somebody is, I can't even tell who, somebody's like, she called me a slut. I didn't, and it's like, I didn't say one thing to her. And Brittany's like, I did not call Angie K a slut. I did not do that. And Brian was like, I'm going to tell you this honestly. It was her, Brittany, who started the slutty conversation. And Brittany's like, did I? Did I do that? Did I? I'm smelling a flashback. Bronwyn says, let me give you the timeline in a talking head. Brittany called Angie a slut first, and we see pictures from the bat mitzvah. Outside to me at the bat mitzvah, then I told Angie that Brittany had said it to me. And Angie ran to Brittany and said it to her, and Meredith only heard that very small part of it. Security! And then Lisa in this scene goes, did you start it, Brittany? And Brittany like, nah. And Bronwyn continues into talking head, and I'll just make it this simple. Brittany said it first. Brittany said it the meanest. I like Brittany the least. She's the most in trouble. And she kind of like gives a little eye raise, like, wah, wah. This Bronwyn, dude. It's like she's made in like a Housewives lab. You're like, it's genetically perfect. Bronwyn says, honestly, it went too far. Angie was wrong to say you look like a porn star, whatever. And then Angie goes, let's not fucking insult porn stars, right? Thank you, Angie K. Let's not. No. We love porn stars in Salt Lake. Let's not do that. And Brittany goes, really? And Heather laughs and puts her hair across her upper lip like a mustache. Meredith rolls her eyes. And Lisa goes, and you know what? Fix it with her. You don't want to slut shame anyone. Say you're sorry, Ange. And Heather goes, she wasn't slut shaming at all. She's calling her a hypocrite. Because it's hypocritical to, not accept a bottle of wine when you drink wine. It's hypocritical to, pretend your body count is equal to the men you're married. So Heather finally doing something of use here of like, yeah, it's hypocritical, to not accept a bottle of wine when you drink wine. It's hypocritical to, pretend your body count is equal to the men you married when you have a boyfriend. And Brittany's like, look, we are not sleeping together. And Bronwyn shakes her head. And Brittany's like, my boyfriend and I are not sleeping together. And then Angie's like, so why did you buy those thigh highs with the crotchless underpants? And you're like, yeah, look at this in the bathroom. Jared bought me this. He didn't buy you that, and you're not having sex? And Bronwyn's like, at the drag show, you were running around the bathroom telling me Jared picked it out. Jared, you didn't even have underwear on when you said that to me, which is just so amazing. So all of a sudden, we have a scene that we never got to see where Brittany is running around, not wearing underwear, going, Jared picked this out for me. Jared Osmond. I like charcuterie trays, I like DMs, and I like buying my ladies crotchless underpants. That's how it's the Osmond way. All right. And it is so insane. But so Heather's saying this is all hypocritical, right? And Andy's like, yeah, you buy you crotchless under, and you're like, tell me how you look in this? And Brittany's like, it was an amazing gift. And Whitney is like, what's going on here? And then we flash back to that trip and we just hear audio and it says room 402 from the Milwaukee trip. And we hear Brittany going, okay, look, no one else can appreciate this because this won't show, but look how freaking sexy this is. So she's in there with the thigh highs and just like fully nude. Brittany's like showing off her like, but JJ, isn't that insane? She's like, look how freaking sexy this is. And Heather's like, holy shit. Now I'm seeing what Jared Osmond is fucking into. This could ruin the Osmonds. So she did this and Angie was there in the room. So that's what they're saying with Brittany. There's like this pattern of being hypocritical. Bronwyn back in this scene goes, I'm just telling you, nobody bought me crotchless panties that's not fucked me. Never once. Nope. Todd has bought me Billy and we have had sex. I love never once. Nope. No. And then Heather goes, no one's ever bought me crotchless panties, fucking or otherwise. And then Brittany's like, this is a sex-forward world. Yes, it is, Brittany. It is. The problem is, though, you're saying, don't bring me wine. Yes, it is a sex-forward world. Act like it. Be okay with it. And then Brittany keeps going, everyone can do whatever they want. And they're like, sex forward. And like, yes, it is. It's like, there should be no shame. There should be no shame in abstinence. Now, Brittany takes a hard left again. Crotchless panties, but also let's abstain. Let's just soak, And Brittany's like, there should be no shame in anything you want to do, unless it's butt stuff. Behind closed doors, the end. And Lisa goes, I agree with that. But also Lisa's chewing, I agree with that. And then Meredith goes, I agree. And Brittany's like, it's nobody's business. Well, you're making it other people's business when you're showing off your goods. And all of a sudden there's silence. And then Meredith turns to Angie at the dinner table and goes, I want to say something to you. I got very triggered when Brittany came to me and said you were slut shaming her. I did. Perhaps I don't have the whole story. Perhaps I do. It was a big day. I was getting bar mitzvah. I don't really know. I was hoping for a different outcome. I was. I really was. I am sorry that it ended the way it did. And then he's like, I am too. Thank you for saying that. And I was devastated and I was hurt. I have always respected you as a mother. Family is everything to me, Meredith. I loved seeing you in that light. I was just devastated at the way that it ended. And Meredith shaking her head like, yes. And I don't want to fight with you, Meredith. I don't want to fight either. Thank you, Meredith. I'm just going to enjoy this moment. And Lisa goes, yay. And Meredith in the talking head goes, this whole situation with Angie has been very hurtful for me. I didn't start or spread any of these rumors about Sean's sexuality, but they have chosen not to believe that. So that's what's been festering here. But hopefully now we can move forward. Can I have my shampoo and conditioner back, please? And my journal. Thank you very much. And then Heather pipes in, I love you both very much. And that was really hard. It was. And so I'm glad that you were able to make resolve. And then Lisa goes, me too. I am so happy. And then Angie goes, yeah, I'm just going to stay in this moment for a minute. That's all. And Meredith goes, I think that's a good idea. I think we should check here. This show is fucking bonkers. Oh my God. And then it ends. Next time on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And we hear people going, cheers to the best day ever. And they're on a boat and they're all cheersing drinks. And then Bronwyn on the boat goes, has anyone asked me about the real shit I've gone through with Todd and the infidelity that we have had in our situation? Zoinks. What? We get this dropped at the end on the preview that Bronwyn says there has been infidelity in her marriage to Todd. Now, before we jump to conclusions, I think we think, oh shit, Todd cheated? Somebody with maybe a bigger Starbucks mug collection? Or is she saying that potentially she has strayed in the past? Holy balls. This is what I'm saying. Bronwyn has everything. She's even admitting faults and things in her. I'm overheating. And then we have another scene where Angie says to Lisa, goes, Lisa, we agreed to stay out of each other's stuff. And Lisa goes, what are you going to do? And then Angie's like, maybe I'll take a little play from your book and lunge at you. And then we hear Lisa go, I'm going fucking home. And leaving the scene. And then we hear Lisa go, lying bitch. So Lisa's going out of her own dinner party. And that's all we see from next week's episode. Holy balls, folks. What an episode. We did it. What did we do? I don't know. But hopefully we had fun here today. You guys, thank you for all of your support as always. Always subscribe to this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Rate it 5 stars. If you get a chance, I'll see you over there on the Patreon. And like I said, subscribe because you never know when I'm going to drop an episode. Subscribe. As Meredith would say, subscribe. Just subscribe. Take a bath and subscribe. Okay, bye. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.